This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and you are listening to Danny Coleman's Rock On Radio.
Ron Bumblefoot Thaw here on Rock On Radio for yet another week. And we have returned. We only have, producer Claire is here, of course. And we've only done, I've done this show, BC, before Claire.
With BC.
With BC, yeah. He was my original co-host. But I've done this show without... or in multiple places, but over the last, since we were moved from the City of Angels, we've only done it in two spots, really. We've done it at the 2-track studios of Deco Entertainment, and we've done it at the library. So here we are again. Welcome to Rock On Radio. I am Danny Coleman. As I said, producer Claire is here.
I am.
And Rock On Radio is brought to you by Lila Pies of Princeton, located at 301 North Harrison Street, inside the Princeton Shopping Center, where Jen makes hand grenades of happiness. They just had a makeover.
Did they?
She remodeled everything, put in a new floor.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw it on the Instagram, mother. Yeah. So she put in new stuff, and I have to go visit.
Nice. I think that's a good reason.
I should probably go.
Bring your wallet.
Yes. Which right now has nothing in it, but that's not unusual. But Little Pies of Princeton, located at 301 North Harrison Street, inside the Princeton Shopping Center. O'Connor's American Bar and Grill of East Hampton, Mount Holly, New Jersey. They are on Route 537, otherwise known as Monmouth Road, and they are the official caterers of Rock On Radio.
Nice.
Phoenix Art Supply
And framing.
and Framing. I get all choked up when
Yes,
I talk
you do.
about Chuck.
Yes, you do.
Phoenix Art Supply and Framing, which is owned by Chuck's wife, Jenny. They are on Route 611, otherwise known as Southeastern Road, in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. They have been providing that area with quality framing and art supplies for more than 40 years.
Nice.
Phoenix Art Supplies and Framing. Sinister Footwear. Go to sinisterfw.com. Check out some of those wild and crazy socks featuring everything from cartoon characters to movie scenes, historical events. Tina's got everything. SinisterFW.com. Use promo code DCRSocks at checkout and you'll get 10% off.
Yay.
Dee Dee's Lights. Go to Dee Dee's Lights. She is the official chandler of Rock On Radio. I'm looking at some of her work as we speak.
This is true.
There's three of them back there on the shelf. Dee Dee is the one that made our Rock On Radio candles, and you can see them if you come to... do we have any on the website? Or
I'd have to... I think I have a picture or two, maybe, but they're older ones, so...
All right. If not, go to our Instagram, at Rock On Radio, all one word, all capital letters, and you'll see I've got some pictures of Dee Dee's handiwork here on that page.
Yep.
The Jersey Shore Jazz and Blues Foundation. Go to jsjbf.org and find out what the foundation can do for you. Now they do. They offer scholarships to various organizations. They are the ones that took us to Clarksdale, Mississippi, and I've still got more of that to come out yet. They just have they're just good people. They're very good people. It's so nice to have Wayne and Jack and John, former board members of the Jersey Shore Jazz and Blues Foundation.
Last week.
In studio, yep.
Yeah.
With their band Jump Back. So it was really, really a good good time. And then we had Ben Wilson call.
Yes.
From the from Blues Traveler. They opened up at Red Rocks Amphitheater in Colorado.
Yep.
Big show for them with our friend Jack Daly, who
Dum, dum, dum.
we're going to be hearing from very shortly because our first hour pretty much is going to be spent of Rock on Radio on...
With Doug Deep?
I went to Doug Deep. I took Joey Kilday.
Oh, dear.
And we went to Doug Deep Productions, which is located on Bangs Avenue in Asbury Park. And I sat down with Mark and Jack Daly, who is currently the bass player for the Spin Doctors. And we talked about the studio and how if any musicians are, they do not discriminate. You want to record there, just, pop in and see them. We're going to get to that interview very shortly for that. But... Asbury Park Vibes. Speaking of Asbury Park, Doug and Diane run a fabulous outfit over there. Yep. And they have a 15 photographer staff. They do press releases, bios, headshots, and they have a great podcast. So go to AsburyParkVibes.com. NewJerseyStage.com. You go to New Jersey Stage, the finest arts and entertainment magazine to be found anywhere. Where? How's that for an echo?
That's good.
Oh, good. Thank you. My column, Rock On, This Week's Sound Bites, can be found there every Thursday, as well as this radio show on the PenguinRocks.com and many other Jersey-based radio shows. Just like Radio Garden State, where you can hear this show at 10 a.m. on Monday, my Indie Hour, 10 a.m. on Wednesday, and my Blue Show, 10 a.m. on Friday. Mike just interviewed Governor Murphy for his podcast.
Oh, really? Very cool.
I'm glad he didn't ask me to go on that. That would not have turned out well.
Probably not for you.
No. But, and I still, actually, before we get started, I have a couple of things I want to... not rants, but things that I need to get off my chest.
I see.
So to speak. Now we also have Tyndall Road Brewery, which is on Farnsworth Avenue in Bordentown, 102 Farnsworth Avenue. They are the official beer providers of Rock on Radio. And I think that's it, right?
Yeah, well, we're not in two-track studios, so...
Well, not this week, but we did name two-track studios of Deco Entertainment.
Yep.
Bruce, I talked to Bobby Boyd today on Facebook Messenger. I needed some information.
He's at a big band thing tonight.
Oh, yeah? Oh, okay.
He's playing at a big band.
Very nice. And how can they find out about us,
they go
Claire?
To DCROR.com, which is the short link for Danny Coleman's RockOnRadio.com.
Correct. Now, I'm going to lay a scenario out for you.
Uh-oh.
No, because this really bothers me. Okay. I'm gonna talk about one publicly here on the air, and privately when we're done, I want to tell you something else. So, months ago, probably November, December, I had a local musician come to me, and he's like, I've been trying to get into a certain bar for a long time, and I just can't. They won't call me back. I said, you want to play? I'll get you in. So I get the guy in. Get the guy in. It has led to fantastic. Now they're like booked there constantly because they're fantastic. Right. They're great at what they do. So I stumbled upon him, or he stumbled upon me. I was sitting down at the time. And he's a great guy. I'm fond of him. Yeah. His partner, maybe not so much after this exchange. But when you help somebody, which I have no problem doing, and you know that. Anybody who knows me And I do it without fanfare. I do it, but when you help somebody achieve something that they want, and then you offer them the same thing that got them there in the first place, and they tell you, nope, sorry, doesn't pay enough to do it that way. I applaud the fact that they have standards, and it doesn't matter to me because I can.
But they got you to a place. You got them to a place.
I got them to a place they would not have been.
Right.
Maybe they would have been eventually, but I got them to a place a lot faster, and that's okay. And I'm glad that I could help. I am totally glad that I could help. But when I offer up that same thing that got them there and a shot at our happy hour, and I'm told, no, my partner don't want to do it because it's not enough money. Well, that's the same money that got you in here. So that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. But, so, going forward, and I said to him, going forward, I'll keep that in mind. I'll never ask you to do another gig that doesn't, meet your standards.
Right.
And that's fine. I applaud them for taking a stand, because I don't want to undercut anybody or undermine anybody.
Right.
But then again, I'm not anybody. I helped you.
Right.
So, that's okay. But I had to get that off my chest. So, essentially, I was told one time, the thing about the music business and any business is be careful of the toes you step on today, because they might be attached to the rear end you have to kiss tomorrow. Down the line, maybe I'm not so anxious to help. But that's okay.
Right.
That's how the world works. Lessons learned, right? So I just had to get that off my chest. And the thing is, I like the guy. I really do. I genuinely like him. I was very surprised. And I could tell he was somewhat uncomfortable when he was answering me. So it's obviously not him. But you get stuck with a guy, with a partner, you're going to wind up with less gigs than you do more.
Right.
So we'll leave it at that. So thank you. My rant is over. Now tonight we have yet another in the library series here on Rock On Radio.
Another chapter.
Another dun, 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 dun.
Oh, there's going to be a tornado tonight.
Well, it's right.
Tornado. Hey, we're in the library.
We're in the library where we're always safe from tornadoes. I think it's fantastic. This is a top-notch safety facility. I think it's great. So, as I mentioned earlier, I spoke with Jack Daly about a week and a half before he had to be at Red Rocks, because they opened up their tour. Spin Doctors, Gin Blossoms, and Blues Traveler. And they opened up their tour at Red Rocks on July 4th. They will be in Atlantic City on July 19th at the Ocean Resort Casino.
Nice.
But what I talked to Doug, you got me called Doug, to Jack.
I'm like, who's Doug?
To Jack and our good friend Mark Swirsky.
Yay.
What we talked about was the actual recording studio that Jack owns in Asbury Park.
Nice. Located
at, I think it's 625 Bangs Avenue in Asbury Park. It's called Doug Deep Productions. And you can Google them. They'll come right up. Jack also, some of his session guys are his fellow Spin Doctors bandmates.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I've hung out there with Mark on multiple occasions, and Jack, and it's just it's small, but
mighty.
It is. It's the sound that you get out of there, and you'll hear at the end of this interview with Mark Swirsky and Jack Daly of Doug Deep Productions, I am going to play a couple of songs that came out of that studio. One from our good friend Helen O'Shea.
Oh, nice.
And the other from Brielle Brown, who just dropped her second album.
Nice.
And it's fantastic.
Nice.
So, once again, this is Rock on Radio. I am Danny Coleman. Producer Claire is here. Here is my interview with Jack Daly and Mark Swirsky of Dug Deep Productions. Okay, I am at Dug Deep Productions in Asbury Park, New Jersey, here on Bangs Avenue, with owner Jack Daly and producer Mark Swirsky. How are you, gentlemen?
We're good. How you doing, Danny?
I am fantastic. Always a pleasure when you guys allow me to come hang out here.
We love having you.
At Dug Deep. And we're here today to talk about Dug Deep Productions. So, and this is your baby, right, Jack?
Yeah. I started it, the idea sort of started around, 10 years ago, but it took a minute to get it up and finished. And actually, COVID was the thing that got me to finish it, because I had a whole year where I really didn't have anything to do. So I built this, I finished building the studio. It was sort of framed and sheetrocked a little bit, but there was a lot of work to be done.
Oh, so it was really bare bones when you came in?
Yeah,
okay.
I completely gutted the building, so so there was nothing here. But I had the studio about half built, I guess you would say, and then I had about 3 or 4 years with Steven Van Zandt where we were touring so much where I couldn't really get it finished. But once COVID hit, I had the whole year. I was over here every day, all day long, just building, finishing all the details.
Okay, so along those lines, you mentioned Steven Van Zandt. Give my listeners, now your listeners, about yourself, about Jack Daly, and how it came to be.
Well, primarily, I'm a bassist. That's my main thing, and I played in a lot of bands and worked at studios in upstate New York. And then around 1989. I sort of woke up one day just thinking to myself, I gotta make a move. I gotta do something with my career. So I moved to New York City, and to try to condense it, within like a year and a half, I was in like 13 bands in New York, basically, just hitting the street and playing with everybody. And then I started getting touring work and records, playing on records as a session basis. And I got the gig with Lenny Kravitz, and I did that for 14 years, toured, all over the world. And while I was doing that, I was building my my career both as a session musician and a producer, engineer, and doing different things. So I did that, and then I kind of just produced and mixed for a few years. And I had a studio at my house in Monmouth Beach, and then sort of I started touring again and playing with different people, and I ended up in Steven Van Zandt's band, and we did about 4 years, 2 records, 2 live DVDs, and it was just fantastic. And now I'm touring with Spin Doctors, so. That's condensed, obviously, but
no, it's
gives
just
you an idea.
But and you're getting in July, right? Isn't the tour kick off with Gin Blossoms and Blues Traveler?
Yeah.
And
we start right around the 4th. We start at Red Rocks.
Red Rock, wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever played that venue before?
I have not played it. I have been to it, but I've never played it, which is kind of surprising. But
it looks gorgeous.
It looks amazing. It's amazing.
Nice.
So I'm psyched about that.
So you started this studio during COVID. And you were saying before about a gentleman that helped you design it?
Yeah, Larry Swiss. Larry Swiss was the initial designer, and Larry Swiss, unfortunately, right before I started construction, he passed away. It was a terrible thing, but anyway, so it's kind of a combination of his design and my design, because I took a lot of his ideas, but I did change some things, and I changed the direction of the control room. It was, in his original plan, it was aiming this way, which would be east, and I wanted it to aim south so I could look out at the live room and also see the windows and stuff like that, so the sun coming in. But that was something I didn't really realize looking at the paper. But when I, stood in the room, I was like, no, I don't want to be bending my head to the right, you know, the whole time.
Get a crick in your neck.
Exactly. So it ended up this way, which I'm glad it did,
And so what was the official opening date of Dug Deep?
We opened right around the very end of 20 or the very beginning of 21. I can't remember.
Okay. So the last 4 or 5 years or so you've been here?
Yeah.
Now, I know the day that the first time I was ever here, I walked in and some of your Spin Doctors brethren were here. I think it was Alan.
Aaron,
drummer, right?
Yeah.
And you were doing a recording session. So, and since you've been involved with people of a higher profile, seemingly your whole career, who else has recorded here? Anybody else of note? Besides our friend Helen O'Shea?
I mean, my first big record, which was kind of, I didn't expect it, but I've worked for about 20 years with a German artist named Marius Müller-Westernhagen, and he's a superstar in Germany. And he called me right when the studio opened and said, I'm going to come and do my next record. He flew over from Berlin to Asbury Park, stayed at the Ocean Club, and we did his record here, which was incredible, And, on top of that, we've just been, Mark's in all the time, and I can't even tell you how many artists we've done, but.
And speaking of Mark, Mr. Swirsky, how are you, sir?
Hanging in there. Can I interrupt? Jack forgot one of his biggest credits. He's being very humble.
What credit is that?
It's a little Saturday Night Live gig that Jack got to do with a certain somebody.
Yeah. That was one of my only 2 gigs in 2020, the year that I built the studio. I actually, for the first time in, I guess it was 12 years, I played with Lenny Kravitz. I went over to Davos in Switzerland and the Economic Forum, and we played there. And it was literally like 2 weeks before COVID really hit, or 3 weeks. It was like the end of February. So I did that gig, and then shut down. Over here, I'm a builder for the whole year, and then I had that record set up with Marius Westernhagen, and we were going to do it remotely because he couldn't fly. No one could fly because it was COVID, right? So we were going to do it remotely. So in the midst of all that, I get a call from Steven Van Zandt. And it's a week before the Saturday Night Live thing, and he's like, he goes, I got something. I'm gonna need you to step in on it. It was like a mafia caller. So I thought I was gonna have to go to Boston and hit someone, knock someone up. He's like, I'm gonna need you to step in, and I'm like, oh, Steven, man, I got a gig I got a big project at my studio that weekend, and Steven just goes. And I'm like...
You better backstory this, Steven.
I'm like, all right, Steven. I said, all right. I told him, I said, I got this big thing, but he wasn't hearing it because I think he had already probably sold the idea of that he had someone to play bass. Because Gary was just not going to come to New York during COVID. I don't know exactly where his head was at, but he didn't want to come up. So they wanted to do the show... but they didn't have a bass player. So Steven probably said, "Look, my guy will be great," But then I was like, "I can't do it," and he was like, so I was like, "Okay, Steven, I'm in." So I had to call Marius, in Germany and tell him, but he was like, "Oh, if it's Bruce, go for it,"
So you took Gary Talent's place on that Saturday Night Live appearance
for one day.
Yeah. Did you say? Well, my friend, right, Christine Ullman?
Of course.
Yeah, she was. Did you get to catch up with her while you were up there?
No, I didn't. She wasn't there then, but I did. I did run into her on one of the early gigs that we did with Little Steven. We did a gig down in Maryland. I can't remember what it was for, but anyway, Christine was on that.
Yeah, so she's great. Yeah. I love her.
Yeah.
I went to Clarksdale in March, and I told her I was going to Clarksdale, and she's like, you got to go here, you got to go there, you got to do this, you got to do that.
Do you know, I have a long history with her. I guess it's her brother, Vic Steffens, like stepbrother or something like that.
It's something like that.
Yeah, he's a guy from Connecticut, producer. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I think he a guitar player as well?
He's a producer. Yeah. I think he probably plays a few things.
Because I think he played on a couple tracks on her
That makes sense.
the Deep End
That makes sense.
album. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. But so now enter Mark Swirsky,
Yeah.
the producer extraordinaire. So
My main man here at Doug D.
Yeah. So all right, Mark, let's hear about you. I know about you. Tell our listeners about you.
I don't like doing that, but I mean, whatever. I mean, I've been really lucky for about 35 years as a first as a songwriter. I got really blessed with having some huge cuts on some huge records, and it segued into being a writer and producer. Like Jack, I started out as a bass player, but I realized that there's guys like Jack out there, so I don't bother. I try to play bass only when I have to these days.
Bass players make great producers.
Yeah.
They do.
And it's funny, and that is a statement, because my mentor is a gentleman named Charlie Midnight, and anybody feels like looking up Charlie's name, his credits will blow your mind for what he's done in his career. But I was the last bass player in an incarnation of the Charlie Midnight Band, and Charlie one day came to me and said to me, "Do you write?" And I was like, yeah. And he goes, "I want to tell you something. You're the most naturally gifted arranger I've ever met. Of all the musicians I've ever worked with." It's like, it's really nice of you to say. And that put an idea in my mind. And at that time, what I was doing besides playing with Charlie is, like Jack, I was running around New York City playing with many bands. And my main thing was I had a rhythm section for hire, and we backed up a lot of female singer-songwriters. And one in particular was a woman named Francesca Begay, and ended up hooking up with her and becoming her rhythm section. And one day she said to me, "Do you write?" And it's like, "Oh, Charlie said I write, so I write." And needless to say, we just had an initial chemistry, and she didn't really need my help because she was a great writer. But what I was doing for her was giving her ideas of things she never thought of, an approach to songs. And one of those songs, which was like the third or fourth song we ever wrote together, ended up becoming a song called "Trust in Me," which was basically ended up being cut by Joe Cocker. And because Charlie and his partner Dan Hartman, may he rest in peace, were producing the new Joe Cocker record. Well, that record went on to sell about 5 million copies. From there, I ended up getting a very big publishing deal with, at the time, was called SBK Songs, which became EMI Publishing. And from there, that launched my writing career. And I just kept writing for people. But to put it all together, I think my greatest talent is I know how to develop artists. I know how to get to the core of what an artist wants to say, why they want to say it, and how they can say it. Not how they should say it, but how they can say it. And I've just had a blessed career doing that for a long time. As a songwriter, I've been on over 50 million records. I've got 2 Grammy Awards as a songwriter. But it fast forwards to how Jack and I, who we've always known about each other, but I think it's about 14 years now.
Yeah.
About 14 years.
We hooked up with on the Gideon project.
On the Gideon project, about 14 years ago, there's an artist named Gideon Luke, who I think Jack will safely say probably should have become a superstar.
Yeah.
And
definitely should have.
The time wasn't. We were ahead of our time, frankly, in what we were doing. We were doing soul music before soul music became back into vogue. And honestly, we were I was getting ready to cut a record, and I beelined right to Jack to play bass.
Yeah.
I did not want to play bass on the record. Could I have? Probably, but it was going to be Jack. I knew to hire Jack. Gideon fell in love with Jack.
Yeah.
The three of us became like just a little family amongst ourselves. Jack ended up going on to not only playing bass on the record, he ended up co-producing a lot of the record with me. He mixed the record. The record went through a lot of amalgamations, but the core to every record was Gideon, Jack, and myself. And I wrote, co-wrote or wrote the whole record. And I think from there, our respect for each other just, we spoke the same language. Musically, we spoke the same language. I think
And it was easy.
It was real. Yeah, I like to make things pretty easy. I don't like to make. I like to. There was enough forces out there trying to make it difficult, and we both saw it was affecting Gideon. Gideon was being pulled in another direction as an artist, in a place that I don't think he was comfortable. We managed to pull it back in, and I will say this much: the record was pre-streaming. But things happened from that record that don't usually happen for unknown artists. He got 8 major licenses in films and television projects. He ended up doing tours that just don't usually happen for unknown artists at that time.
We were asked to play.
We went overseas to do Later with Jules Holland. No independent, unsigned artist had ever been asked to come overseas for the United States of America to do that.
They thought it was the next... big soul
thing. And we were on a show with Robert Plant and the Counting Crows. And I think Jack will back this up. I'll never forget them sound checking and Robert Plant standing there like, what the F is this?
Yeah.
And he pulled Gideon right away and took Gideon and started talking to him. And his love of Memphis was just, I stood back there and listened to the conversation. Robert's love of Memphis was like, you thought he was born there.
Jules Holland was very complimentary too.
Awfully complimentary. And I still get inquiries from that show. And that was back in 2014 from that show. I still get people asking if they could find the show or whatever it is, because they still hear about Gideon. Brings us there. I've always worked in many studios. I've traveled the world working in studios. I was working in another studio. I put my bones in that studio. Had some wonderful time and years there. But it was time to go in another direction. I went to another studio. This is before Jack built the studio. And then, I always waited for Jack to build a studio because I don't need to travel anywhere if I don't have to.
It took a
long
minute,
time.
yeah.
But we continued to work with each other, and through that whole process, the single most important thing, we became family.
Yeah.
Like brothers.
Yeah.
And that statement alone is worth everything, because that's when magic happens. Do we agree on everything? Absolutely not. But do we find
a lot? We do.
We do, but do we find in creative you find it, and what happened is I was working at another studio. It was going well, but Jack, I needed to do a record, and it was during COVID, and it was Brad's project, Brad Butcher project.
Okay,
It's the first thing I brought in. It's a project from Australia, an artist that I've helped develop and work with in Australia, who's got a fairly high profile in Australia. I need you to. I can't finish this record. I need you to finish this record. Can you do it? Yes. So we came in. We were very careful about who we asked to come in. We knew everybody would adhere to the health, masks and everything. We came in
the
there.
first bunch of records done in here
We're COVID.
We're all masked, and everyone was masked up.
And we did the record. Well, after I did the record, I was like, screw this. This studio is the place I always wanted to work at. I wanted to, and I've worked in the studios all over the world, and some of the best studios in the world, but walking in this environment is the way I want to be a part of making a record. It's the energy I want to make a record. The single most important thing is what you record in this room, and if you take it outside, it sounds the exact same way.
Yeah.
There's no lie.
That's the trick, because a lot of times you'll be in a studio and you'll record something and you'll feel like you're a genius, and then you take it home to mix it and you're like, oh boy, we got a lot of work in front of us.
Well, that's good. The mastering engineer will love you that way then.
Well, funny enough, my mastering engineer, I will say this. I've been blessed. I've used the same mastering engineer for 30-something years now. He's a gentleman out of Australia named Leon Zervos. Go look up his credits. He'll blow your mind.
We've talked about him
before. He's the biggest mastering engineer in the history of Australia. He just moved back there, a few years back. But he still gets all my projects. Even Jack's using
I just used him on Sunday. He was fantastic.
And he's also one of the sweetest human beings on the face of the earth. He's one of my 3 best friends in the whole world. I'm lucky enough to say that.
Nice.
And he, along with 2 very high-profile mix engineers who I used on a lot of projects over the years, both all at almost the same time, all came to me and said, "Mark, you need to make a change. You're going in one direction, and I'm telling you, where it's coming from sonically is not matching where you're going, and it's making our job more difficult, and it's not helping you to go to the next place." I'm lucky to have that relationship with people that feel comfortable enough to come to me to say that. It's no disrespect to anybody else, but like Jack, I'm always looking forward. Gotta look ahead. And I realize sometimes things in the past didn't come at the right time and you can't shut the door on them. But in the world of creativity, you want to be going forward. You gotta be moving forward. I can tell the people that are going to hear this, I can tell you when you write about this, when you're here in this studio specifically, it's always looking forward. To Jack's credit, if I say on Monday, man, I think, we need something, on Wednesday he calls me up and says, dude, it's coming in, it's going to be here.
Quick turnaround.
There's no fear. And Jack doesn't have fear of trying things, where I think most studios, they buy what they buy, they do what they do, they stand where they stand. It's okay. There's a time and a place for all of that.
We're trying to keep growing.
Yeah, and there's no boundaries. No boundaries. We will do anything in this place.
Yeah.
Well, I was just telling, and for those of you listening, I'm here with my good friend, and we're in our very first band I was ever in was with this guy.
Great.
We were almost 14 years old, and here we are now, above 60. But Joe Kilday is with me, and I was telling him on the way here, I said, these guys are straight shooters. They're not going to sugarcoat stuff for you. They're going to tell you what they think needs to be done to make it better.
Right.
And I know that from knowing you all these years, Mark. And so when you sit down, and again, we are at Dug Deep Productions in Asbury Park with Jack Daly and Mark Swirsky. So when you sit down and you bring an artist in, what's the preliminary like? It's not pre-production because you haven't done anything yet or worked it. But when an artist comes to you and says, "I want to record with you," what's the process?
Well, I think there's different processes for different artists, but I think like Mark just said, he will do pre-production on an artist that he's bringing in, and that will mean like going through the material with them, maybe writing songs, reviewing the songs, finding out what's needed, deciding on what the direction might be, and then picking the right musicians for that direction. So there's a lot of, maybe deciding on, okay, we're going to go this route with the sound, so this is how we want to approach it, this is how we're going to split up the tracking. So there's a lot of decisions that are made before someone actually walks in the room.
Well, one of the things that, Mark, you have done is you have sent me with a couple of different bands, before and afters, what their sound was like before you guys got a hold of it, or Mark got a hold of it, or your engineer that you were using, and after. And the difference is like night and day.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, I thought the first cut, you had sent me a Brad Butcher thing. And I thought that first thing, wow, that's great. And then you handed it to me, I was like, wow, that wasn't so great. This is spectacular, So there is a big difference in that. Do you guys have to do that often? I mean, do you have to fix?
Honestly, yes.
Okay.
Honestly, yes. I mean, it's not a bad thing though. I'm going to use a record that Jack just finished a record from Heidi.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use Brielle.
Okay.
I'm going to use both of those. We didn't have to work that hard on those records.
Right.
We just didn't. The material was strong. Whatever work needed to be done was done before they walked in here. They were great singers. They knew what they wanted. They were able to They were comfortable completely in their own skin. They cut their records. You know, we use a lot of the same people on the records. You know, we're blessed enough to do that. We've intermingled the worlds together, very much so.
Almost the exact same band, except for
Andrew.
Andrew
and Vin.
Yeah.
Switching guitar players. Yeah. And, you know, Jack and I shared the bass on some stuff, and we you know, but on Heidi's thing, he did the whole thing, and as he should have done the whole thing. And I wasn't even here for it. Jack produced that record. But the methodology behind it was kind of simple.
Was similar, yeah.
It was almost similar. And we, you know, with Brielle's record, we did 10 songs. I think 8 of them were all first or second take.
Right.
Her vocal was first or second take.
But I think there was a lot of thought process put into it before the record actually started here.
Like Heidi, you did the work beforehand.
Yeah.
If you do the work beforehand, Danny, it makes, when you get in here, you can just move through it. And when you have musicians that everybody is comfortable with each other, you feel it, you hear it the same way. There's some projects where you have to work your butt off. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's the end goal is for it to be great.
Exactly. Now, well, you have things like the immediate family and, you know, the Wrecking Crew or the band and those studios. So what do you have here? The diggers? The dig deepers?
Yeah, basically, yeah. So and it's kind of the same philosophy. I mean, that was always sort of something that I wanted to have happen with the studio, where like we really kind of have like a house band. Now there's some interchangeable parts, but it's the same thing, you know, with the Wrecking Crew. I mean, sometimes it was Carol Kay, but more times it was Joe Osborne. They both could do the same job, kind of, you know. So that's sort of, you know, Mark will be like, well, this record's going to be a little more modern, so maybe we'll use this guy, and you know, or this is a little more classic or a little more retro, so maybe we'll use this guy. So we make these, you know, calls and decisions, and, you know, usually after a few conversations about the record, and, you know.
Now you did that with Paul Bodie that day I was here, right? You brought in some session guys for that record?
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing that, you know, Jack and I both met Paul, you know, with you at that blues thing, and, you know, we hit it off, and, you know, I was like, that guy's a great slide guitar player. He's just a great slide player, and captivates you. We hit it off, and it was a long conversation, and he wanted to make a record, and I was like, dude, just don't make another blues record. Found a concept that worked.
Right.
He liked it. It took a while for it to happen, but, you know, Paul played guitar. Other than that, we brought, you know, the Doug Deep crew in, and it was Aaron on drums, Jack on bass, and Rob Cloris on keyboards. We cut the whole thing in a day and a half.
Yeah.
The whole thing in a day and a half.
How many tracks?
6 songs in a day and a half. And yes, they were covers, but we put our own twist on them, and you know, a lot of the twist came from not necessarily changing parts that much, but the way we captured it. We were very, Jack and I were very we were really focused on how we wanted to capture it and the way we wanted to do it.
Now, do you get much pushback from artists that come in here and say, no, this is my stuff, this is what I want it to sound
but
like?
not that often. I mean, most of the time people are open to trying things, or at least letting you go down a certain path and seeing, you know, how it suits them when, you know, after you do it. But yeah, I think people are usually trusting, you know. And you know, it's tough if I've worked with people before in the past that, you know, won't let you do anything, and that doesn't really work. If they're gonna hire you, they have to put a little trust in you, you know, and let you try things, you know. So yeah, not as often as you would think. I think people usually go with.
So you're here from start to finish with the recording process.
Yeah.
And do you give them any kind of post guidance, like as far as...
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
I mean, listen, I think that, you know, we both believe in this. Don't give roughs out. If you don't have to give somebody roughs, don't give them roughs. More than not, they're not going to listen for what's great. They're going to listen for what's wrong. They're going to only hear what's wrong. And most of the time what's wrong is them. It's a terrible thing to say, but people become hyper focused on that. Because I think it's a microcosm of the world of music right now. Is that everything is so myopic because everything is so in everybody's head. They can do it themselves, or they only focus on one thing. I think the reason why people should hire producers, should go to a recording studio and record if they can, because you're getting a different energy and a wider view on what it could be. And I've often said to people, I could play bass on everything I could do. I could go play a lot of the instruments. I don't want to. I could remember how to engineer again. I don't want to. You know why? I want to be in my own place, listening to 100 things going on and being able to focus on that. Why not let the other people do their thing? Why not give them the leeway to do it? They might do one thing that you never thought of that completely changes the way you listen to that song. Here, now, and forever.
That's what a lot of times, that's what great session musicians bring, They'll have a take on it. You had something in your mind, but then they'll do something that totally surprises you and just sets the whole thing on its head,
What if you have a band that wants to come in and record with the members of the band? And, I mean, you're not told, no, we only
It's completely fine to do that, and we do that. It's usually more work, because most of the time, most of the musicians are not experienced in the studio. Right. So you make it work. You do whatever you got to do. Sometimes you have to help one guy more than the other guys or whatever, one person more than the others, but you make it work, but it is harder. It does require, extra work sometimes.
Speaking of which, now, you gentlemen, you know Joe, right? Sarasano?
Oh.
Right?
I don't think Jack would.
I don't know.
Joe?
Legend in the state of New Jersey.
Okay.
One of the great, one of the great Caucasian soul singers of all time.
One of the greatest. Well, he was in the '80s, right? The voice of Miller Beer in the '90s. Hands Across America. He was one of the original vocalists in Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah.
What else? He lead singer of Black Sabbath for a day. After Ozzy quit,
like Joe Lynn Turner.
Yeah.
Just like
yes.
Okay.
After Ozzy quit, he passed the audition, and then the next day he said, "No, I don't want to go on the road anymore."
Okay.
But anyway, so Joe had one of the funniest quotes when he was first time he was ever on Rock on Radio. He said, "I have a home recording studio." He said, "But today, even the kid that bags my groceries at ShopRite has a home recording studio."
Right.
So with that kind of thing, and everybody thinks, this is my stuff, I'm going to produce it my way. How do you battle that or compete with that?
I don't think we battle it. I think that if someone really wants to do something like that, and it depends on the type of music. There's certain things you can do in a bedroom that that are fine if it suits that type of music. But if you want something that feels real and sounds like a full band playing live, you can't really do that. You have to go into a studio to do that.
We have a project right now that's very similar to that. We've done all the recordings here for a band called No Shows out of New York that I've been producing and working with for years. And the lead, it's all the brainchild of a gentleman named Max Satow. He's so gifted. Great songwriter, wonderful record producer, wonderful musician. What he does is he does a lot of stuff in his bedroom. But what happens is that, it stays in a certain place, and he even wants it to be bigger. So what he does is he brings in what's called stems on some stuff. We load them in. It's just a blueprint for what we're trying to do. And then I like to say we put it on steroids from there. Sonically, musically, he did it all with drum machines, have a drummer come in, does the keyboards, and there's little, is in the box. We bring in another keyboard player to add, bring the sounds and take it to go from here to super wide.
We recut his bass. Recut his guitars.
Vocals.
Recut his vocals. And at the end of the day, sometimes there's nothing left of the stems. But sometimes there's one or two elements that give it a certain, thing. So
And I do think a lot of that happens more than people think it does. But there's also the thing about, there's some producers that it just has to be the way they want it. It's going to be this. This is my sound. This is my thing. Great that you did that. Now we're going to recreate it all. My philosophy is if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
yeah,
And why work harder? And why strip away that innate feeling that moved the artist? Because at the end of the day, it's the artist that has to sell it. It's not the producer. That's one of the things that frustrates the daylights out of me. It's the day and age of the producer's a bigger name than the artist. Well, give me a break. Then there's something, I'm sorry, there's something wrong with the artist. Because any great artist that you bow down to, don't let no producer's name be bigger than them. And you want to take an artist and put them on a pedestal and make them feel like they're the most important thing. As a producer, you're there to help. You're not there to overtake the process. And that's my firm belief.
I mean, as it should be, I would
Yeah.
I would imagine that the artists, they're here to hear whoever the marquee name is, and not the people behind the scenes who so often go forgotten or people are unaware. I mean, to this day, even there's some records that I'll pick up and I'll be, oh, I didn't know that guy was on that, or I didn't, So here at Dug Deep in Asbury Park, your surroundings or that of, I always say on Rock On Radio that the talent pool in this area is very deep.
yeah, absolutely.
Do you get a lot of local artists?
We do. Yeah,
okay.
we do. We get quite a few local artists. Waiting on Mongo, last 2 records. String Bean's new record.
Oh, you did String Bean here?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm anxious to hear that one.
Yeah, it's a good one. So yeah, we do lots of local artists, and we bring things in from all over the world. Which is exciting to me. I love the fact that we do local artists, but also love the fact that we can pull in a record from Italy or Germany or Spain, or just had a guy down from Canada. We did his whole record. So, we're doing people from all over the world, really, which is fantastic.
Another Australian project coming in September.
Okay.
We have a project coming up from Mobile, Alabama over the summer.
Nice.
And these are just different, you can do that. It's people, I actually find that people want to come here. It's just always a matter if the budget allows it. But if they can figure it out, they want to get out of their backyard and they want to come because you can come here for a day, a week, a month, focus on what you do.
And the city, Asbury Park, it has a reputation for music, and we have an ocean, so it's a cool place to come to, So I think that's why my German friend was into coming here. He knew that there's history here with Bruce. He's a big Bruce fan, So there's things like that, that bring people in.
That drive people here. If people wanted to find you guys, how do they do it? Website, social media? What's
we have all of the above. We're on Instagram, Dug Deep Studio, and we have our website, www.dugdeepproduction.com.
Okay. Now, Mark, you mentioned Charlie Midnight earlier, and you had a project you just did with him on our friend Deco Entertainment, that label. Do you find that when, like, you're here, now you of course have known Charlie for years, and you're here, do you find that when musicians come in, they ask you to collaborate with them or help them in some way at later dates? Is there a repeat process of any way?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can honestly say most of the people that I work with have come back multiple times. I'm really proud of saying that. I think that's the mark of the fact that you provide people with something that they feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
And they also become friends and family indirectly. I mean, yes, have I been hired to do records where you never speak to somebody again? Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think the whole thing is about is lasting and a legacy, and keep coming back for more.
It's nice to form those kind of relationships that keep that lasts for several records or,
Right.
several years of touring or whatever it happens to be, So
Yeah, listen, our dear friend Helen O'Shea. I've been working with Helen now. My kids are going to be 11 years old. I've been working with Helen for close to 11 years.
Wow.
I remember her coming to me saying, in her own way, my father told me to come to you, and I worked with her, and I worked with her over the years, and she's made, she's grown leaps and bounds from when I started with her. And I honestly can say this environment made her best record. The record that she's going to have a shot at standing up and saying, I've been doing this, I'm paying my dues. But we brought in our wrecking crew, and,
Right.
and we had Aaron, Rob, and Andrew Carrillo in here, and some other guests came in, and honestly, I spread it around the world. We made a record for the ages.
It's funny because you sent me that record, and I listened to it. I listened to her first one, and now this one.
Yeah.
And right away, and Mark did not tip me off at all on this, Jack. But the one with her, and Sharon Lasher, and Joe Weimer, and there's a fourth lady on
My wife, Brielle.
Brielle's on there. Okay, and you're what? Oh, all right. I listened to that, and I thought to myself, that's the single. So I tell him that, and you were like, that's what we're thinking about, releasing this as a single. And what a huge difference. The sound that you gentlemen get out of here is live. And one of the things that I admire about Springsteen is his albums always sound live.
Yeah.
Always sounds like they're all in the room recording it all
Yeah.
together. And you get a nice live sound out of here.
Yeah. That's
And
what
when-
we shoot for.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And Helen's sound is it's great. I mean, it's especially on that one we were just talking.
Yeah,
It's nice and live.
She's done 3 records here, right?
She's
Helen?
done 3 records
Yeah.
here, but this is the culmination of. And Jack, we spend hours and hours in here doing it with her, and she gives us the latitude to really do whatever the hell we want to do. We literally, she understands her place in it.
Yeah.
And she if she has something she questions, she's very polite about it. She questions, but I've been telling her
Polite in an Irish way.
yeah. But I say to her all the time, you spent 10 years to make you're born to run or something like that. This is the record that she's always wanted to make.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for people to hear it. I think people are going to be quite surprised when they hear this one.
And for those listening to this, Helen, her backstory, real quickly, is she was a doctor.
She is a doctor.
Or she still is. Yeah, she still is a doctor. And she gave it all up to pursue a career in music. And, she bounced around, right, from Ireland to Montreal. Now she's here in Jersey. And you guys have helped her with that. And I don't think you can underestimate the ability of what not just for Helen, but what you gentlemen have probably done for more musicians than I can count, as far as helping them achieve their goals, another step towards their dream, or just be passionate about their art.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you got to sit down, and I'm sure there are times where you sit down and say, "Whew, I don't know. Good luck."
Yeah,
and there are other times where you're
some
like,
projects can be difficult, but the thing is that we always are trying to do
Make it
something
the
that
best.
we think is really great.
Right. And that's what I was going to say, but I can guarantee that the majority of the things that you two gentlemen have done out of this space is overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anybody walking out of here not feeling good about what they've done.
That's credit to Jack. Jack built an environment. He built a space and an environment that allows people to feel comfortable when they walk in here. They never feel intimidated nor overwhelmed. As a studio owner, as a businessman, Jack's a he's a people first person.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's a business, and I'm going to make your stay in my home. I'm going to make it
You
comfortable.
need people to make your business
And
successful.
we like I said, we keep trying to improve it. we're presently involved in remodeling our lounge. So that's what we got going on right now, which is, you always got to keep improving,
Well, other than that, what do we have down the road for Dug Deep?
A bunch of records coming up. Jack's going away for a lot of the summer.
Yeah, I'm going to be busy.
Oh yeah, you're going to be on the road with.
I did tell you also that the Spin Doctors' new record was recorded here.
No,
it's out on Capitol. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an amazing record.
It's a great record.
It's an amazing record. They didn't come back and say, "Oh, we'll make a record." They came back. One of the tracks on is called Gorilla. They came back like gorillas.
Yeah.
And
it's been getting great response.
It's a great
lot of great reviews and.
And but I think we're just going to continue making records. We a very dear friend of mine just moved up here from Atlanta, and named Seth Von Paulus, and Jack, feels comfortable with him, so he's here engineering a lot of stuff in the studio now. So just because Jack goes away doesn't mean we have to close the doors.
Why do I know that name, Mark?
He mixes most of my records that I've worked on.
Okay, you and I probably talked about him.
Spoke about it before, and he's a really, happy birthday, Seth, by the way.
Happy birthday, Seth.
And really talented, and he has a similar ethos when it comes to music. And I could sum up one thing about Dug Deep, and I think anybody that works here, it's about the music.
Yeah.
The music comes first. Service the music. Honor the music. Honor the artist. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't think you could say anything more or less than that. And one other thing about Dug Deep Productions, not only can Dug Deep Productions make your record, you can take yoga courses next door. And if you need a new wardrobe, Jack and his wife own a beautiful clothing store, rock and roll clothing store across the street. And soon, before you know it, Jack will probably own a bar on the other side of the street and a parking garage on the other side of the street.
I like your thinking, Jack.
Don't get ahead of me.
Now, your wife. So you can come here to try to become a rock star.
Right.
Then you can go over to your wife's shop, which is called
Modern Love Fashion,
and get dressed like a rock
That's
star.
Right. Yeah.
And if you open that bar, then you can drink like a rock star.
Yeah, well, you can already do that in Nazareth.
That's true. Very true. Websites and everything again, guys?
Okay, so the studio is www.dugdeepproductions.com.
Okay, and social media is Dug Deep Productions, Instagram,
yeah.
all that stuff. Okay. Before I wrap it up, Joe, you got anything to add?
It's a beautiful place. Thanks for having me.
All right, John.
A man of many words.
We like that.
Now, guys, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dan.
And it's
Joe.
always, I love coming here whenever I get the invite. I've never
Anytime.
turned it down. I don't think I ever will.
Anytime.
So, always a pleasure to hang out with you two. Once again, Dug Deep Productions here on Bangs Avenue in Asbury Park, 625 Bangs Avenue.
With a new red sign out front.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Styling and profiling.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Rock on, my friends.
All right. You too.
Love's a river, and time's the tide that takes us. Oh, deliver enough to carry through the rain. Beautiful resistance, caught up in the distance, but heaven ain't far from here today. We've walked this land, buried songs in the sand. We've dug the dirt where the flowers bloomed and died in our hands. Let the water drench us, overflow and test us, so we don't break, we bend. Gather the ashes from someone to dance with and do it all again. 'Cause love's a river, and time's a
that you left behind. Simply living life to be so fair and just and kind. You're my everything. You're my everything. When I lose my way on my darker days, still you hear me, still you near me. You're my everything. A rogue in a halo with your crinkly eyes, a beacon of lightness, 'cause of you we rise. When I try to better me, you must know it's true. All I ever wanna be is nothing but like you. You're my everything. You're my everything. You're my everything. When I lose my way on my darkest days, still you find me, still you guide me. You're my everything. Such a brilliant father, the way you made me feel. I'm proud to be your daughter, with your will of steel. You're my everything. When I find my way, my everything. On my brighter day, you're my everything. Oh, you're still near me. You're my everything. Still you hear me. You're my everything. Still my everything.
All right, that was Helen O'Shea with
Nice.
Man in a Million, and Brielle Brown with Beautiful Resistance here on Rock On Radio. Both of them recorded at Dug Deep Productions in Asbury Park, New Jersey.
Nice.
And once again, I want to thank Mark Swirsky and Jack Daly for letting us hang out with them that day. And Joey Kilday walked out of there. He's like, wow, that's the coolest thing I've ever done. So, good for him.
Nice.
But speaking of cool, we have one of the coolest people I know
That's right.
with us on the telephone right now. We have Gina Coleman of Misty Blues. Woohoo! How are you, my friend? Fresh from the Emerald Isle and the UK and all kinds of fun stuff.
I'm doing well. I'm a little jet lagged, but I'm holding up.
Nice.
I'm holding up.
When you were over in Ireland, I'm just
Yes.
curious. Nobody asked you if you knew me, did they? And then for $20 that I owe them or something, €20.
No, oddly enough, I was expecting something like that, but no, it never happened.
And say, hey, are you related to that Danny Coleman guy?
It wouldn't shock me, Gina, because they tell me I was there for 15 days a few years back, and I had a blast in Ireland. So, how did that come about? You're out on tour.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, it's been, it's been in the works for about 2 years.
Oh, nice.
As soon as we came off of our last, European tour, they're like, we have some venues that want you right back. And I'm like, well, I don't think I can swing next year. So we've been planning it for 2 years, give ourselves a little break in between, because it's we're not like the big A-listers, who have everything covered for us and all of our arrangements done by someone else. We had a tour. We had a tour booker out there who took care of all of those, arrangements. But then, kind of everything else lands on us, in terms of flights and rental vehicles and houses and what have you. So it's. And when I say us, I mean me.
How long were you over there? How long was the tour?
Oh my God! So I think we left on June 19th, and we came back on July 6th.
Nice.
So good amount of time. I can't do math, so I'm gonna leave that up to you.
A few weeks.
Yeah,
So almost 3 weeks you were there. Nice.
He does the math. I don't know.
Yeah.
So-
but we had a great time.
And where did you go? Because you didn't just go to Ireland. You also went to the UK and Scotland and Wales. And
Yeah.
so
Yes.
how many shows did you do in each country and where?
Well, so the first week we kind of called it like a working vacation because the first full week we were in Ireland, and that week was bookend by gigs, so the middle was just full of frivolity.
Fun.
So you basically got off the plane, and then the next day we had a show in Galway.
Nice.
And then we had the rest of that week just to play. And then at the end of that week, we had a show in Dublin. And then the very next day, we had to get on a ferry from Dublin to Wales and then take a train into London, because our first show, in the UK was in London.
Wow.
And then we started just bouncing around England and then hit Wales and back to London, and we ended up our tour in Edinburgh.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you hit everywhere. Excellent.
Yeah, we were all over. All over. I think when the UK leg of our trip, I put over 2,000 miles on our rental vehicle.
Whoa. That's not very big either, so you covered a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Drove back out. How'd you like them traffic circles?
Oh.
I know, the roundabouts.
The roundabouts, yeah.
Don't go the wrong way.
I know. Roundabouts are pretty plentiful in New England, so it's just
the other way
making
around.
sure it's going the right direction.
That's what's scary. Yeah. It's so true.
No, the scary part was coming back to the States and getting in a vehicle and not knowing where I should go.
True, that's true. That's true. My dad would say that we were in a van. We went over with kids. We were kids when we went over, and we had a van we rented, which was never heard of at the time in Ireland. And he said that these guys, like, he would drive and they would run him off the road because the roads were so narrow. And finally, he just said he figured out that if he played, he noticed that the natives drive in the middle.
Yeah.
And then you see someone coming, you both drive to the side. So they were much more courteous once he started to stop acting like a tourist. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So well, and the reason why you're calling Rock On Radio tonight is because see now what happens? I finally you finally come down to Jersey to the Lizzie Rose.
Yes.
And now you're going even further south. We're getting you here piece by piece, my friend. You're going to be at Jamie's House of Music in Lansdale, Pennsylvania.
Cool.
Yes.
On July 26th, right?
On
Nice.
25th? 25th.
25th.
Friday.
Okay.
It's a Friday.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
Right. Friday. And we're excited. I quite honestly, we travel all over the world now, and we haven't played Philly. or the Philly area.
Right.
Really? Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Now I know
So-
Greg over there. Is that who you spoke to set this up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Greg's a good man, Gina.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting him, but yeah, our booking assistant did all of the wrangling with him, but she said he was just wonderful to deal with.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, Greg, I am very surprised he didn't send you my way. Because
Well,
normally
no,
he does.
yeah, he did. He did. I guess in communication sent to our booking assistant, he said, "Please reach out to these few outlets." And I'm like, "Well, I think I can take Danny Coleman off your list."
True story. Very true story. So you guys are going to be there. Now, Jamie's is a very interesting venue.
Tell me about it.
Okay,
Yes.
it's in a unique location.
Okay.
It's small. They
Okay.
they do have decent, or they have good food. They have a bar, which is always tops on my list, which is great.
Yep.
They do have a decent sized stage. It's on the smaller side, but the vibe in that room is kind of like the juke joints you see in Memphis. You know,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, the whole thing is kind of like that, and I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So it should be.
I played the juke joint once or twice.
And they know the locals love to go to Jamie's, so you should have
Awesome.
a great crowd there.
Awesome. Awesome.
Now, what will you be doing there? You sent me a couple of tunes that I'm not familiar with.
Well, it just so happens that August 1st is the release of our 17th album.
Whoa.
Wait,
Yes.
you're putting out another album, and I'm out of the loop on this.
Come on now.
You've put out about
No,
3 albums,
I can't let a year go by without 2 or 3 albums being put.
well, let's see. Wait. Since in the last year or two, right? You put out the 25th anniversary record.
Right.
You put out
The tribute to Odetta.
and there's 2 of those, right?
Yeah.
And then you had the live album from the Cavern Club.
Yes. Yeah.
What am I missing?
My solo album.
Oh, that's right, your solo record. See, you know I love you, but I can't keep you straight. Wow.
Well, it's a good thing my husband can.
I'm telling you, somebody's got to. I heard you talking with Claire about the trials and tribulations of the tour bus. And I'm like, where's that youngest member of the group? This sounds like a job for Diego, man. You know.
You know, Diego is an amazing young musician, but he's not wrenching on vehicles.
He's got to keep them hands in shape.
That's
for
right.
sure.
That's right.
All right. So tell us about the new album and how much of it you'll be letting loose on at Jamie's, since it's prior to the release date.
Yeah, it's like a week away exactly from the album official release date. So we're gonna play as much of the new stuff as as we can. You know, give people a live taste of what's gonna be on the album.
Oh, that's fantastic. You're going to do that litmus test again, huh?
Yes. Well, we also had great opportunities while we were abroad to work out some of the new songs live, because before heading abroad, we had not performed any of those songs live, really.
Well, you're gonna get used to them real quick, I think. Now it sounds.
Yeah. No.
So
they're really gelling. You know, recorded, tracks and performing them live, it's a different animal.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Most definitely. If you're just tuning in, I am on the phone with Gina Coleman of Misty Blues, and you have this new album coming out, which is called what?
Other Side of Blue.
Other Side of Blue. And
Yes.
and you just returned from a UK tour, which kind of makes me think maybe we should play this tune off of the album. I've
All right.
Got Vices.
Ooh,
Whoa.
don't I? Don't I?
Don't we all?
I'm gonna tell you, Gina, when I was there, I tried. Oh gosh, did I try to drink that country dry of Guinness, and I failed at every turn. They just kept making more.
Yep. And it tastes so different there than here in the States.
That's what a lot of people say. You know,
It's-
here in the States, if I said to you, Gina, if I said you want a half and half, what would you think it was?
I don't know. Like, it's a black and tan?
Kind of like a black and tan, right?
Yeah.
So here in the Jersey area, if you go to any Irish pub and you say, let me have a half and half, the bottom half is Harp and the top half is Guinness. So when I went to Ireland, I was in Galway City, and I had to use one of the facilities. So I didn't want to just go in and use a bathroom and not buy anything. So there were
Leave a little, take a little.
so there were two young ladies behind the bar. And I said to them as I was on my way, figured they would start the Guinness for me as I'm on my way to the bathroom, I said, can I get a half and half? And she says, she's like, you want Smittix and Guinness? I said, no, I want Harp and Guinness. Well, you would have thought I offended her.
Ooh.
She looks at me and she says, Harp and Guinness, I've never heard of such a thing. And I was like, I'm from the States. That's one of the versions that we use. She goes, okay. She gave it to me. I offered her to try it, and she made a face like it smelled like a skunk or something.
That's so fun. Why didn't you take their half and half?
Well, I could have. Believe me. Oh, I made up for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You know what I mean? Gina?
Ooh, something new.
Yeah. So yeah, I've Got Vices is quite the good one. You want to preface this in any way before we play it?
It's just, it's just one of those songs that came to me, and, we all have our little, demons.
Oh, that we do.
Yes, and it's just a little ditty celebrating the less savory side of ourselves.
There you go. All right. On the phone, I have Gina Coleman, Misty Blues, Jamie's House of Music on July 25th. That's probably an 8 p.m. show, right?
Yes.
Okay. Off their new album, Other Side of Blues, here's I've Got Vices.
I've got vices, baby, and the worst of them is you. I've got vices, baby, and the worst of them is you. Lord knows I try to quit you, but it leaves me lonesome and blue. and the leaves in our steep don't make your average cup of tea. Oh, I got vices, baby, and the worst of them is you. Lord knows I tried to quit you, but it leaves me lonesome. What you got, baby? What you got? but it leaves me lonesome. But it leaves me lonesome, lonesome.
I've got Vices from Misty Blues, and I have Gina Coleman with us on the phone. And so what do you write? How long does it take you to write an album? How many tracks are on this one?
Well, it's the same amount of tracks on all of my albums. That's 11.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You stick with that 11. Do we have any special guests? Last time you had what? You had Eric Gale's Early Times. You had all, right?
Yeah. I think I ran out of my fancy people chits.
You are the fancy person now.
No. We have special guest Bob Stannard on harmonica, and he's an old school blues cat from up in Vermont. And he has great stories of playing with B.B. King. So I'm so happy that I met him many years ago, and he's he's a major supporter of Misty Blues and calls me up to sit in with his band occasionally up in Vermont. And I
Nice.
take every opportunity to go up and sit in with those guys. He does a fantastic job on a track that that's kind of near and dear to my heart. So, but other than that, it's just our little motley crew. Just plugging away, doing our stuff. It doesn't take me. I mean, I could put out another album. I could put out another 2 or 3 albums this year because I have so many songs that we keep in our files, and just when I'm ready to put out another album, we just kind of clear from that because I'm constantly writing.
Right. Huh. Nice. Well, what is your website and your social media? How do we find out about all of these 17 albums?
All right, so Misty Blues Band at .com is our website, and on Facebook we're the same, the Misty Blues Band. On Instagram we're Misty Blues Band 413, which is the area code in the Berkshires where we're all from. And you can find us on YouTube and Spotify, or wherever you Apple Music, all those. Bandcamp. Bandcamp is another big one for us. Nice. And that's under Misty Blues Band as well.
Nice. Now, every now and then you'll get out of the blue, no pun intended, but out of the blue you will get a picture from me, either a text or a Facebook message of my car stereo.
Yep.
And I know that you told me it never gets old, and
it never gets old.
I can only imagine. I just want you to know that when I see Misty Blues pop up on my radio in my car, or our other good friend who I love, Eliza Niels, or Early Times when his stuff pops up, or Dave Keys.
Yeah.
All these people that I've come to know and become friendly with, some more than others. I mean, I am, much more friendly with you than I am and some other one, you and Eliza. But it is so nice. I think I get as thrilled for you as you guys are for yourself. I just want to roll down my pickup truck windows and yell, "I know them!
I know her!
And I used to, and it's kind of funny because I there's so many people that I've interviewed that I just, their music pops up on there all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that same attachment to them as I do to you and the people I mentioned. And I know we talked about this, but I just want to tell you, Gina, that it really, one of the people I used to love to listen to was our friend Joe Louis Walker.
Yes.
And I want to tell you that, and I know I texted you this, but if I was going to learn of his passing, I'm very glad it was from you.
And I was, I felt so bad that I was the first person to relay that to you.
I can't remember where I was, but I wasn't like on social media or online or doing really anything, information wise that day. And when that text came through, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad, because usually I'm the one telling him things happen.
Oh no. Yeah.
That's usually my job.
Yeah.
Did you hear?
Oh, I know. It was horrible. I actually found out earlier that day, or the night before, just as I was about to go on stage to do a show. My guitarist is like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know if I should tell you now," you know. And I'm like, "Oh, you have to. What's going on?"
Right.
And I was just, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It did. And I was just about to start our a performance of our Roadhouse Revival Gospel Blues show. So now I'm singing all of these gospel tunes. I'm like, oh my God, that was one of the hardest shows I had to get through.
I mean, I bet, and nobody other than people that listen to this show and you and I, my friend John Lappin, who made that all happen for you with Joe, and because he was Joe's PR guy at the time.
Yeah.
No, nobody knows the connection that you and I and Joe and John and your band have that way, and how it wrapped around everything, and that's why I'm so glad you were the one that told me about it, because
he was a true mentor.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from him, being on a track with us, and we opened for him on about a dozen shows. So that was very special to travel and to work craft together. But the tales he would weave, the green room time, that was the most special time, because he could tell a story, and I loved it. I remember just before going on stage at the Cohoes Music Hall in Cohoes, New York, and he looked at my cigar box guitar, and he's like, "It's so sad. You can't afford 3 more strings." He's like, "When's your birthday? I need to get you something with more strings."
That's why I used to love whenever John would say, "Hey, Joe's, you want to interview Joe," I never turned it down.
Yeah.
And there was one time I interviewed him like 3 times within 8 months, and I wouldn't turn it down because he would just tell me stories about growing up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and how, the clubs, and he was this teenage kid and he left home, and and it's so cool because, like you said, it kind of like mentors you. You learn from these stories.
Yeah.
And it's truly a tragic, well, not tragic, but everybody passes away, but
he was only 75.
Yeah, definitely hurt, that one. You there, Gene? Oh, you there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thought I lost you for a second.
No, I'm here. I said it certainly did hurt, but I think of him often, and I only have memories of just cackling with him. so I mean, I only have these wonderful memories of him. Yeah.
Now, do you still do
Take a Long Ride?
Yeah, but any of the other things you've ever done with Joe in your show, or?
Yeah, we still play the song that
got it all started. Yeah,
I got it all started. There's my husband is also a huge Joe Louis Walker fan, and I mentioned we have this Roadhouse Revival Gospel Blues show that we put on, and he's been for years asking to do that, for us to incorporate a Joe Louis Walker tune in it, "Soldier for Jesus," and I've been pushing it off. He's like, "I hope you will add it now." I'm like, "Yes, honey."
Joe would do. I can't tell you. I think he's been on recordings on every single blues record label that's ever been invented.
I know.
Yeah. And he told me one time, he goes, I do that just because I want to see what somebody else will do with my music.
Yeah.
Yeah, he referred to people like you and Eliza Niels and Vanessa Collier as his puppies. Because he's like, they're my puppies. I raised them and sent them out into the world, he told me one time. and he there's not one man I don't think that could have said that with any more affection than Joe Louis Walker.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And he also told me one time that he loves when he has new players in his band. He said, because he said, I don't really put a leash on them. He said, I let them do their thing. He said, and it takes some of my songs that are so old that I was tired of hearing them and makes them sound brand new again.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's just the kind of guy he was. So that's, and I know how much he meant to you and Misty Blues.
Yes.
And so my condolences on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's with us. I know he's watching over. He's still being mindful.
Yeah.
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 Oh, well. So again, you're going to be at Jamie's?
Yes. Jamie's House of Music, and is it Lansdowne?
Yeah, Lansdale.
Lansdale.
Yeah, I think it is Lansdale, right? Oh, he's choking. He's choking over
Lansdale, PA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which has a great brewery nearby, the McAllister Brewery.
McAllister.
It has something called Peach Wit. It's like my favorite beer of all time.
All right. I'm not sure if we're going to get there in enough time
I know, right?
to peruse the local brewery before our load in.
I just hear Lansdale, and that's where I go. So
You might want to check. They may have it on tap there.
yeah,
There we go.
that's true.
That's very true. That's July 25th, 8 p.m. Jamie's House of Music in Lansdale, PA. There's it's one of these deals where there's really no. Jamie's has zero parking, but the train station across the street and lot next to that, I believe that you can park in there for free.
Oh, cool.
I believe, unless that's changed. I haven't been there since our friend Gretchen Emery performed there, but yeah, that's fantastic. Now, what are your websites and everything again, Gina?
MistyBluesBand.com for the website, and Misty Blues Band for Facebook, and Misty Blues Band 413 for Instagram.
Beautiful. Now, what else besides Jamie's? What else do you have going on? Since this is on the World Wide Web.
We have a short little run. Actually, right after Jamie's, on the 26th, we'll be at Terra Blues in New York City.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
And then you're heading back?
And then we're heading back to the Berkshires. Yes.
Okay. That makes it sound so fancy.
The Berkshires.
Yes. You got to put your pinky out when you say that.
Oh, you're a piece of work. Yeah.
So, before I let you go and we play this last tune, give me your opinion on the state of blues music these days. Now, I had a gig on the 4th of July at the Steel Stacks in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
And as it turns out, I was not aware of this, but Samantha Fish was there for the entire thing. Because she had played there the night before. I guess they hadn't pulled out yet. I'm not, I don't know what their travel schedule was.
Yeah.
And we had already done, one of the guys that performed with us that day is in the current configuration of the Drifters, guy named Derek Lee. And so it was like, it really went really well. I only do one gig a year with this gentleman. It's always the 4th of July at the Steel Stacks.
Yeah.
But I noticed that when we hit the more bluesy tunes or the flat-out blues songs like Stormy Monday and things, that the audience was a lot more receptive than in the past. And this was, they were all ages, shapes, and sizes that day.
Yeah.
So what's, being a blues band, and now you play blues clubs, but How were the audiences over in the UK, and how are they here at home?
Well, the UK is interesting. I mean, they love. I mean, we sold out four shows in 4 different countries.
Wow.
I know. So we had a sellout in Dublin, a sellout in Wales, Scotland, and then England in London St. Harmonica's Club. Yeah. So that was pretty awesome. I think that's very telling. Yeah. Yeah. And they're interesting. They're much more respectful during the song. So it almost feels like, oh God, they're not liking us at all. and because normally, when we get in the role, you hear hoots and hollers throughout the song after someone just lays down a fat solo or what have you, and people are clapping and cheering. You don't really hear that in the UK. And then you end, and they're very super respectful, because so even like a fade ending, they like give it like 1 or 2 Mississippis to let it settle, and then there's this eruption of applause. It's a little unnerving.
Right? Wow.
I'm like, yeah. So we're just doing our thing, and like, yeah, okay, we're coming in for the landing. All right, we're here. Okay, now we're taxiing to the gate. Now the applause.
Right. Yeah, because anybody I ever interview, they always say the audiences over in Europe and the UK, and they're so much more receptive.
Yes.
Than at home to the blues type of music.
They're much more schooled on our music.
Yes.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. They just have a better historical perspective on the music than some audiences that I've come across here in the States. No, they have a fond reverence for our genre of music. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you have the new album is going to be released on
August 1st.
August 1st. It's called Other Side of Blue.
That's correct.
Misty Blues, their 17th album.
Nice.
It's as old as your daughters. They have as your youngest
as
daughter.
my baby. Yeah, that's right.
Mine too.
Yeah.
So
good number.
And where can we find that, Gina? Besides your social media and websites, is it going to be on all the usual suspects, Spotify, and all that?
Anywhere you consume your music, it'll be there.
Okay. And July 25th at Jamie's House of Music in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, 8 o'clock. Misty Blues, featuring Gina Coleman. Now you have this, which I hope is the opposite of what's going to happen, but you have a song called "I Ain't Buying."
I ain't buying.
Go ahead. What's that all about?
You've locked in with that person, a certain individual who's just feeding you lines, and you're not buying what he's trying to sell to you.
There you go. All right.
And this has Bob Stannard on harmonica featured on this track.
Oh, great. All right.
Yes.
Well, Gina, excuse me. Make sure you say hi to Greg for me over there, and
Will do.
He's fantastic at Jamie's House of Music. And good luck with the record. Good luck with the gig.
Thank you.
Who knows? Maybe I'll surprise you that night. Show up in Lansdale.
I love a good surprise.
I don't want you to go in shock if you go on stage and look out, see my ugly mug out there. But say hi to the guys and say hi to everybody for me, and good luck with the show.
Thank you so much.
Here is, off of Other Side of Blue, here is Gina Coleman with Misty Blues featuring Gina Coleman with I Ain't Buying.
Nice.
you trying to say to me? Honey, I ain't mind. What you trying to say to me? I know I'll be paying a long, long time for what you're claiming to be free. Mama, she done told me, never going blind. Promise you the moon and then he'll sing another tune. I ain't mind what you're trying to say to me. I know I'll be paying a long, long time for what you're claiming to be free. Papa, he done told me, watch what he proclaims. Don't believe the player and never trust the game. I ain't lying, what you trying to tell me? I know I'll be paying a long, long time for what you're claiming to be free. What you trying to sell to me? Honey, I ain't lying. What you trying to sell to me? I know I'll be paying a long, long time for what you're claiming to be free. I know I'll be paying a long, long time for what you're claiming to be free. I know I'll be paying a long, long time for what you're claiming to be free.
I love Gina Coleman.
She's amazing.
I really do. It's a lot of fun to talk to, and and she tolerates me.
She does. She more than tolerates you. She loves you.
I don't know. She mentioned her husband twice during that conversation.
Yeah, so she could still love you and love him.
Oh,
It could be a different kind of love.
true. I got a groovy kind of love.
Oh my.
Oh no, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so Claire, that just about does it
Nice.
for us. Talking to Gina, that new album comes out August 1st, Other Side of Blue. Doug Deep Productions, Jack Daly is on the road with the Spin Doctors. They'll be in Atlantic City on October 19th. You can check out that tour with the Jim Blossoms and Blues Traveler. And Ben was funny last week too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Ben Wilson, when he called. Funny guy. I was listening to the interview I originally did with him for the write-up that I put out this past week. And he was funny.
Yeah.
He really was. I think he's stuck with us now.
I think so.
He enjoyed our conversation, or so
Nice.
he said. So,
Nice.
coming up next week, we have John Hathaway and Gray Riders. John, it's probably been about 6-7 years since John's been on Rock On Radio, so it'll be good to see him again.
Longer than that. I've been here 7 years and I don't remember him.
Excuse me. Yep. So, well, good then. You'll meet John's a nice guy.
Good.
Good stuff. So, and then, we'll be back at the 2-track studios of Deco Entertainment. Bobby Boyd helped me with some drum hardware I have to purchase today.
Okay, good.
Always good to talk to Bobby.
Yep.
So, that about does it. So, until next week, rock on! Hi, this is Danny Coleman, the host of Rock On Radio, the Rock On Radio Indie Hour, and Danny Coleman's Got the Blues. If you ever want to get in touch with me or find out more about me and my programs, please visit DCROR.com. That's the quick link for Danny Coleman's RockOnRadio.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support.